So collaborative test taking is an alternative approach to traditional assessment. We considered it an innovative way of exploring assessment, and how I'm using it and have used it in my third year course is that for the midterm exam, I'm giving students the opportunity to complete their exam independently in a traditional setting, how we would usually see an assessment unfold. So in this particular case, it is an upper year, third year course, and it's heavy based on multiple choice. So the students will complete the first hour, will complete the traditional multiple choice test. There's a very small break, and then the students are invited, if they so choose, and they can completely opt out, but if they so choose, they can stay in the space and then write the same test with a team or a partner. Usually we have groups between 2 to 3 to 4 people, and what they do is they actually revisit the same test. However, this time they have one group submission. And one of the things that we do is that the sole attempt that you complete first is worth 75% of that value of assessment, and then 25% of your midterm score on your test will actually be your group score. We do put in a caveat whereby if your lone attempt is more successful than your group attempt, then we won't actually use that score. So that way there's nothing to lose for students who think that, I'm not very good at group work, I don't know if I want to explore this. What we have found is that students are reporting things such as that they felt motivated to really study for this because of the group component. They wanted to actually make sure that they set the right impression with the people that they're going to be working with, their peers and classmates. Other students have talked about that talking about these answers with their colleagues has actually helped them explore their logic and decision making when it comes to answering questions. One particular gem of our data had a student report that for the first time I realized the mistake I make when I approach multiple tests, and I'm going to be able to use that in my other courses now. So it provides this opportunity for students to kind of think about their thinking. It also provides feedback quite quickly to the students, and they can draw on information from other sources in the sense of one student might say, well, I remember reading this in chapter 3, and another student might say, oh, but do you remember in lecture we actually talked about this? And so they're bringing in multiple pieces of information, which as an educator is what we want them to be able to do. Other things that we find that's important is that we ensure that for students who are registered with our student accessibility services, we invite them to back time their attempt for their first midterm alone. So then that way when they finish, they can join us at that natural break point when we go into teams. So that way students who traditionally write in distraction-reduced environments have the opportunity to write with their peers. And in that case, I had a student share with me that it was the first time since primary school that she actually wrote a test with colleagues and with her peers, and how much that meant to her in terms of authentic inclusion. Now, one of the things that I find quite interesting, the research suggests that, and our preliminary research is suggesting that it doesn't actually inflate the grades as much as we might traditionally think if all of a sudden we're all working together. We see approximately about a 3% increase in the student's grade overall. We do know that the group score tends to be higher than the lone attempts. But what's important is the fact that the students report not feeling the same amount of anxiety, not feeling the same amount of nervousness, and also they report that this tool feels meaningful, that they can actually take pieces of the content and the curriculum away with them, in a sense that it's more than just remembering, it's truly knowing. So this is something I'm very excited about. There's other instructors at Trent who are also adopting this approach, and I'm really happy to meet with anyone in the Center for Teaching and Learning to talk about what this protocol could look like if you wanted to adopt alternative test taking in your classroom.